taking the minutes. Thank you. Can I ask, can everybody in the back hear me? Great, thank you. Can I ask, is this meeting being recorded? Let me put the public on notice that this meeting is being recorded. Can I ask everybody please to turn their cell phones off or put them on silent, including the staff and commissioners? Thank you. I want to thank the University of Massachusetts Medical School for providing us with these facilities. This is our first meeting in Worcester, obviously not our last, and I'll steal my last slide by saying next month we will be meeting in our new office space in Union Station. So I'm looking forward to that. It's been kind of nomadic for us for the last 2+ years in terms of finding places to meet. It's going to be nice to have our own meeting space, but thank you for those of you that came out from Boston or from other distant places. Thank you for coming today in this cold. I feel an obligation to apologize. We're going to have a long meeting today. We haven't met, I believe it's for 6 weeks, and the staff has been extraordinarily busy and productive as always. And as a result, we have a very large number of provisional, final, renewals, change of ownership, and 1 change of location, if I'm correct. So we have a large number of licensing business to take care of, as well as some other commission business. So it will be a long meeting. We will take a lunch break. I'll just find a natural time, sometime plus or minus noon. And I cannot offer any recommendations about places to eat around here, but I hear the cafeteria is pretty good. So. Why don't we get going? The agenda is as follows, which is, I gotta do mine as well. Okay, sorry. I won't have any further comments. We have minutes to approve. We have the executive director's report with the normal updates on status of licensing. We have, as I mentioned, a large number of staff recommendations on licensing to review, including change of ownership, change of location, renewals, final licenses, and provisional licenses. We have several agenda items under item 10, commission discussion of votes, primarily updated or new guidance documents that we will discuss. I think that's it. There's no additional business that I was not aware of at the time of posting of this agenda. So this is a complete agenda. Let us start with minutes. And before I get, I'm sorry. Start with minutes. We have minutes from Commissioner Doyle. You have suggested change these minutes. Would you mind just leading this part of the conversation?
Oh, sure.
So the minutes are from the meeting. Which meeting?
Brilliant software here. I believe it's minutes for November 7th.
From our last meeting, is that correct?
Last meeting.
That's correct.
Anyone from General Counsel's office want to confirm that?
It's from November 7th, 2019. Let me ask, first of all, before you get going, Commissioner Doyle, has the commission had a chance to review these minutes, and are there any questions or comments? And I know that you have some suggested edits, but before you do that, any other requested edits or comments on the minutes? Then Commissioner Doyle, would you mind talking about your requested edits?
Sure. And I apologize because I don't have page numbers on the minutes. It's a little difficult for me to identify where because it appears that the pagination, I looked at it.
I'm sure you can guide us to the right place.
I'm gonna try. I have already sent this to staff. Christopher, if you help me at all. Yeah, sorry. Essentially, there was a word missing from the sentence. What was it?
Go ahead, Christopher, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, okay. Then that's a nature
That's
of a
fine.
typo.
That's fine.
And so is my other one.
So
we're
they're
fine.
both typos?
Yep.
Okay. Then may I ask, please, for a motion to approve the minutes from November 9th?
So moved.
Let the record show that Commissioner Doyle made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the minutes from November 9th. Thank you very much, Christopher, for your help. We'll try to make this meeting as painless as possible with respect to minutes, although I don't think we're going to succeed in that, unfortunately. Next on the agenda is the Executive Director's report. Mr. Executive Director, what sequence would you like to go? You want to do your slides first and then the other matters? Thank you very much. Could you just make sure that people can hear you, can say something, and can people hear the Executive Director in the back? Want to try this? I don't think I want to do that. I don't trust my throwing, your catching.
Good morning.
That's is that good for the people in the back? Great. Okay, thank you.
Okay, good morning again. So these are our typical slides relative to our licensing portal. It's an extraction of data. You'll see here that the total applications that have submitted 4 packets and therefore are under some sort of review or consideration by the commission. That number totals 436. You'll see the majority are for that license type of a marijuana retailer, with marijuana cultivator being the second most common. Again, this is a broader glance at the licensing portal. Again, the 436 packets are pending before the commission. 414 have been withdrawn. You'll see that 3,655, those are applications that have submitted less than all 4 packets and therefore remain incomplete. And to date, the commission has considered 227 applications that have been approved and 4 have been denied.
Thank you.
This is of those 227 that have been approved by the commission, the breakdown based on license type. And again, you'll see that the most common is that of a marijuana retailer, with marijuana cultivator being the second most common.
Any questions?
Of those 227 that have been considered and approved, this is a breakdown of where they stand as far as their progress toward commencing their operations. You'll see that 14 have been provisionally approved, 115 have a provisional license, 19 have a final license, and 79 entities have commenced their operations. The distinction between provisional approval and license is the commission has approved 14, but they've not yet paid their license fee. Breakdown of 667 applications, which is those that have been considered and approved and those that are pending. You'll see here where they stand as far as their priority status. 232 have secured RMD priority status. 22 have secured economic empowerment priority status. This new row here is that of expedited review, which is based on a previous commission policy. 46 entities have been identified for expedited review, and 367 are general applicants.
I apologize for asking this question because it's probably something that we need to do some analysis on. For the 46 that are now part of the expedited review, do you know what categories they fall in, or across the categories that we agreed to provide expedition for?
Off the top of my head, no. What I will say though is this number for the next probably number of weeks and months will be fluid, given that we've noticed every applicant in the portal relative to their eligibility, their potential eligibility for expedited status. And the one example I would use is that of women, minority, or veteran-owned businesses. The Supplier Diversity Office, in fact, today is holding a course, which is something that would be required to be registered for eligibility for that. So as folks secure access to that course and identify as a women, veteran, or minority-owned business, they would be therefore eligible for expedited review. So Beyond that, there are certain license classes or types,
Right.
craft cooperative, micro business, et
I'd
cetera.
be interested if we could think about perhaps in our next
Track that
meeting to give us a breakdown of that expedition or that group. Thank you. Okay, any questions? Commissioner Title?
Just a comment. I know that there was some logistical difficulties in figuring out who qualified, so I just wanted to acknowledge and thank all of you for your work on that.
Any other comments or questions?
This next slide is a further breakdown of applications based on their identified disadvantaged business enterprise status. You'll see here that the majority, 551 or 82%, have not identified. This information is identified by the applicant upon submission. This is a status as far as the review and the process internally, as far as how we evaluate applications. Again, you'll see that 231 have been considered by the commission. That includes both approval and denial. There are 31 pending for your consideration today. The workload, therefore, of staff is 156 are awaiting their review. 192 have been reopened, requiring additional information, and 57 are awaiting third-party responses.
Great. Questions?
This here is a breakdown of total licenses by county. You'll see that there's a change of 20 based on the commission's last meeting. And again, Worcester County remains the most volume of applications or licenses that have been issued.
Questions?
This is a further breakdown also by county based on retail applications. And again, you'll see there's a difference of 7 from the last meeting. This here is based on license type, a status of where applicants or licensees are in the process. Again, based on pending application, if there's been a license consideration for denial or approval, if they've been provisionally licensed, issued a final license, or been authorized to commence their operation.
Questions? Comments? Okay. Thank you.
The next few slides are relative to agents and their status, also in the portal. You'll see that there's 6,955 active agents within the commission or within the industry. To date, 1,500 or so applications or licenses for agent registration have been surrendered. There are a workload of 250 total pending. That breakdown is 96 have not yet been reviewed, 146 have been reopened requiring additional information, 8 are awaiting a third-party response, which is in the context of agents, fingerprint checking for laboratory agents, and as they're approved, they're considered on a rolling basis, 0 are awaiting approval.
Thank you.
Further breakdown of agent demographics, you'll see that the majority, 66%, identify as male, with 33% identifying as female. Additional demographic information relative to race or ethnicity, you'll see that 73% identify as white. This is a glance at the medical marijuana licensing and application process. You'll see there's 161 total applications. 36 are in the application of intent stage, 16 are in the management and operations profile, 6 are in the siting profile, 100 have expired, and 3 are withdrawn. As far as licensing itself, you see there's 93 provisional licenses, 6 final, 56 entities have commenced their operations. I should also mention in the coming weeks, we should be able to announce and move the medical application into the portal, which is something we intended
That's
to do.
great.
We're just putting some finishing touches and review on that, but
That's
that
great.
is our intent.
Questions? Commissioner Doyle?
Yeah, I had a question on can people hear me? Yeah, okay. I actually had a question on the prior 2 slides. Could we, at our January,
Yeah, no,
slides
I'm
on
is this
gender-
is that the one you want? Yep.
gender, and then the next slide, race and ethnicity.
Yep.
And what I'd just like to ask is at the January meeting, have some sort of context about how this has changed since we started tracking.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Executive Director? Am I on the right side?
You are. Also relative to marijuana establishments, medical marijuana treatment centers is agent registrations. You'll see that there's 5,302 active agents in the medical marijuana system. Again, these are considered on a rolling basis by staff as well. On the right-hand side, you'll see that there's information relative to the medical use of marijuana program in patients, as well as caregivers and certifying clinicians. This breakdown is 259 certifying physicians, 64 certifying nurse practitioners, and to date, there is not a certified physician's assistant that's been registered with the.
When did we authorize physician
It was
assistants?
authorized by statute in
Right.
2016.
Pardon, 2016?
By statute, correct.
But if I could clarify.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that was
It was triggered by the transfer of the medical use of marijuana
Right.
program, so it's
so it's
been a
really just,
year.
it's been a year and we still don't have anybody signed up to. Okay,
Opportunity for outreach.
yeah, I think that's exactly right. Any other questions or comments on this? I think that's the last slide in your section, is that correct?
I believe so, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the last slide in your section. So I know there are other topics in your report today, Mr. Executive Director, if you could go into that.
Sure. So the first item, as you have indicated, the commission has relocated to its new headquarters located at Union Station in Worcester. We've also occupied our satellite office in Boston, in downtown Boston at 50 Franklin Street. So those moves have occurred really over the past few weeks, the bulk of it occurring during the week of Thanksgiving. So for context, we have previously occupied temporary office space also in downtown Boston, approximately 7,000 square feet. We've now relocated. The headquarters is nearing 15,000 square feet. So obviously opportunity for us to grow, but also now fit into a space comfortably.
We no longer have to have
7,000
double-decker desks, correct?
Sorry?
We no longer have to have double-decker desks. Is that correct?
It's under consideration though for future growth. That said, we do have sufficient office space as well as workstations, cubicles, et cetera, also including collaborative workspace, conference rooms, and as you also indicated, public meeting space. At the same time, we also, as the press release indicated, we're migrating our network. So we moved physically as well as virtually. Our email addresses have changed to a new domain of cccmass.com. So anyone that would email the commission will see some of that branding adjusting over time. Both of those were independently very Herculean tasks. And to do them at the same time, I think, was certainly a challenge, but worthwhile. We've also, I can proudly say, done it successfully.
Yep.
So just for context, we moved approximately 90% of our staff from Boston to Worcester, again, over the week of Thanksgiving. I obviously appreciate the patience of staff working with us, the patience of the public. We did try to impact operations specifically in the patient support and constituent service aspects as minimal as possible, but also trying to not disrupt the work of staff in the process as well. So this is the first time that the commission will be located in one location primarily. That includes our investigators that are primarily on the road and in the field, but also all staff and all commissioners being comfortable in new space. So happy to report that we have successfully moved and looking forward to fully utilizing our space.
Thank you. I do want to say that I think Sean understated it when he called it a Herculean task. I'm not sure what is the level above Herculean, but I think this qualifies. And also at the risk of not mentioning some people, I just wanted to call out a couple of people that were involved in what I thought. And I've done a lot of corporate relocations in my life, and this one went incredibly well by comparison. I want to thank Sean, obviously, for driving that, but just call out two people. Our new chief operating, I guess you're not so new anymore, but our chief operating officer, Alyssa Stack, was kind of the manager of this project, if that's the right description, and I think did a great job. And then Dave McKenna, sitting way up there in the back, our chief technology officer. As Sean said, we not only moved physically, but we moved virtually, and that's been, I think, an incredibly smooth experience. And any one of you that have tried to do that, move physically and virtually at the same time, and experience what can go wrong, it's truly formidable that it went as smoothly as it did. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Sean. And I apologize to the rest of the staff because a lot of other people were involved. But I just want to call out those three. Any other comments on the move or questions on the move? Mr. Executive Director.
So based on the virtual move, I think at some point at a future commission meeting, I think it would be worthwhile to have a further discussion or presentation on that migration and how that went, but also the opportunities that it provides the commission just from a pure agility and
I think it's right. I think doing something about our overall technology plan and strategy and where we are in the evolution, I think that'd be a really fascinating and important conversation to have at a future meeting.
Yeah, I think it's with security and productivity. I think it does make the commission true to the commission's mission of being a world-class agency and a modern agency. I think we are at risk of jinxing it. I think we are by far the most digitally advanced agency in state government. I think it's a lot to be proud of. So don't want to undersell it.
Don't jinx us.
But also kudos to our entire team for making that work. So the next item is, I just wanted to update the commission on the quarantine order that was previously issued in November. It has since been modified as of last week, December 12th. So as you'll recall, on November 12th, we issued a quarantine order. I did through the administrative action process, quarantining all existing vape cartridges in our inventory across both medical and adult use. On last Thursday, again, December 12th, that order was modified to allow for the prospective manufacturing to begin or to commence, but also to once manufactured, release potentially those cartridges as long as they meet certain conditions. Those conditions primarily include additional testing, requiring that testing occur within the cartridge itself versus the oil previous to infusion. That test also include a screen for vitamin E acetate. Those two things combined, I think, are building upon an existing infrastructure that already exists around our testing protocols, modifying or honing it additionally to now include that new screen for vitamin E acetate. Both of our licensed independent testing labs, MCR and CDX, have validated tests for vitamin E acetate. That decision is really based on the commission's research and our testing that we've conducted on 91 samples through the month of November. Those 91 samples all returned with a non-detect for vitamin E acetate. So in addition to the testing protocol, we also require warnings be issued or made available to consumers or patients, and that the labeling be updated to comply with the commission's existing regulations relative to disclosure of any ingredients or thinning agents, thickening agents, et cetera. The warning label is really to identify that it has in fact been tested for vitamin E acetate and found to be non-detective, but it may include other substances that could be, that may not be safe for inhalation. So just a warning for consumers and patients to make an informed decision. We also require the disclosure of the manufacturer of the device and the materials within the device. That's really an attempt, I think, to conduct some research ourselves, but also gather more information. The manufacturing may include titanium or titanium alloy or copper or quartz. And so trying to get more information for us, but also provide information to consumers and patients. We also require that patients or consumers have access, if requested, to the certificate of analysis so they, for themselves, can see that the product has in fact been tested and has tested for either the lack of contaminants, microbials, mycotoxins, heavy metals, or the lack of presence of vitamin E acetate. Similarly, knowing that the CDC has identified vitamin E acetate as a substance of concern, they've also identified potential other substances, not yet at the same level of vitamin E acetate, but specifically in reference to polyethylene glycol or MCT oil, requiring a disclosure that the manufacturing process may include those things. So if consumers, again, or patients want to make an informed decision about what not to consume, they have that access to that information. So the existing inventory does remain under quarantine. We've been conducting additional tests over the past few weeks. The first screen that we conducted in November was just for the presence of vitamin E acetate. This most recent screen was for the presence of vitamin E acetate as well as heavy metals. And as those results come in and we get a final count of that, we're just awaiting those results. And hopefully, I would say within the next day or so, or even today, could release that information so long as we have it and it's complete. So the existing inventory does in fact remain under quarantine, as this very much so is an ongoing investigation.
Okay. Thank you. Before I have a comment to make, but are there any questions or comments? Commissioner Tattle?
One comment and one question. First comment is, I just want to compliment you on the thoroughness of your decision-making and your explanation and the consistent focus on health and transparency throughout. So thank you. My question is, think you addressed this already, but if people are confused by the quarantine order or the explanation, in the clearest terms possible, if you are a patient or a consumer and you have old products, what would you tell them?
I would say if that product has been sitting for some time, so if you purchased it or acquired it prior to the initial vape ban from the administration going into effect in September, that product as it sits may be developing contaminants, which is exactly why the second screen that we've conducted includes a test for heavy metals and the risk. That's also why we require in this new modified quarantine order the disclosure of what the actual hardware is comprised of, because that at this point as this is an ongoing investigation, that's exactly what we're investigating. So if it was purchased prior, it may be developing or may have developed contaminants.
So thank you very much, Commissioner Tyler. She kind of stole one of my adjectives about thorough, but I do want to both amplify what you said with respect to our executive director, but at the risk again of leaving people out, there are other people in the staff that I just wanted to call out in terms of their role in this. And let me start by saying it's pretty much everybody in the staff. Either everybody in the staff was involved in our investigation, going out collecting cartridges from agency, from licensees or whatever, or backfilling for the people that were more directly involved in this. But there were 5 people I just wanted to really call out. First of all, Paul Payer, our enforcement counsel, really drove this effort under the direction of the executive director and our chief of enforcement and licensing. So Paul, I just really appreciate the way you led this effort. And then in our enforcement staff, Chantel and Catherine, who are our metric experts and really drove that part of the process, and Geneva and Armand with respect to the labs and our work with the labs about testing for vitamin E acetate and for heavy metals and others. Just wanted to call those people out for just an extraordinary job. So thank you. And, Paul, if you can make sure they hear that, I'd appreciate that. I'm not sure that how many people are listening to this right now live. Mr. Executive Director.
Just to follow up on my previous comment as well, I think a distinction I think is worth noting here is the product that was acquired or purchased prior to the ban going into effect or the subsequent quarantine order had been previously tested for contaminants and did successfully pass that screen. And so the contaminants may develop over time. And again, that's exactly what we're investigating. What I can say though is that an illicit market product has never been tested. And so I think that's an important distinction that we just don't know. And I think the idea that, or the process that we're undertaking here is to give the public information, provide them with access to that information, the same information that we have, but also let them know that as these things, we're actively investigating and researching this to identify any sort of source. So it's not as if the product would have failed at the point of manufacturing. It successfully passed a screen, but over time, these contaminants may develop.
Great, thank you. Anything else on this topic, Mr. Executive Director?
Just as I indicated, this is an ongoing investigation. We would release information as we have it, and plan to update the public as periodic or as frequently as possible with information that we have.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership on this incredibly important matter. Any last comments or questions for the Executive Director on this topic? Okay, great. Thanks. Anything else in your report, Mr. Executive Director?
No, not at this time.
Okay, great. Then let us move into licensing. Mr. Pockman, how you feeling? You got like 2 hours of nonstop talking in you?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't look like you have enough fuel there. Are you sure? Okay. Sorry to give you a hard time. The first topic we have 4 recommendations with respect to change of ownership. We will treat those individually, if I'm correct. So could you start please with, and I hope, is it Crippies or Crippies LLC?
Crippies.
Crippies, Mr. Pockman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, the licensee here is Crippies LLC. They're seeking a change of ownership for their retail license. The individual that is acquiring ownership or control interest is Sonia Borelli. There were no entities disclosed in the application as acquiring ownership or control interests. Background checks were conducted on this individual and there were no suitability issues discovered. Therefore, Commission staff do recommend review and decision on the request for change of ownership and control, and if approved, request of approval be subject to the conditions before you.
Thank you very much. Are there questions or comments? Then could I have a motion, please, to approve the staff recommendation for change of ownership for Crippies LLC? Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Let the record show that Commissioner Flanagan made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Doyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the staff recommendation for a change of ownership for Cannabis LLC. Thank you. Next, Mass Shield Cultivation LLC, Mr. Potvin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The licensee here is Mass Yield Cultivation LLC. They're seeking a change of ownership and control for their Tier 2 indoor cultivation license. The individual acquiring ownership or control interest is the same as was previously disclosed on Crippies. It's Sonia Borelli. Again, background checks were performed and no suitability issues were discovered. Therefore, commission staff do recommend review and decision on this request, and if approved, request that the approval be subject to the conditions before you.
Thank you very much. Are there questions or comments? Then please, could I have a motion to approve the staff recommendation for Mass Shield Cultivation LLC change of ownership? Have a second, please? Let the record show that Commissioner McBride made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the staff recommendation for change of ownership for Mass Shield Cultivation LLC. Thank you. Next up is New England Treatment Access LLC. Mr. Potvin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The licensee here is New England Treatment Access LLC. They're requesting a change in ownership and control over 4 adult use licenses and 2 medical marijuana treatment center licenses. The 2 individuals acquiring ownership or control interests are Edward Brown and Fareed Khan. These individuals did submit to a background check and no suitability issues were discovered. Therefore, commission staff do recommend review and decision on this request, and if approved, request that their approval be subject to the conditions before you.
Thank you very much. Are there questions or comments? And could I please ask for a motion to approve the staff recommendation for change of ownership for New England Treatment Access LLC? Have a second, please? Good, thank you for your second. Yeah, thank you. Let the record show that Commissioner Doyle made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner McBride. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the change of ownership for New England Treatment Access LLC. Last change of ownership is T-Bear Incorporated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The licensee here is T-Bear Incorporated. They're seeking a change in ownership and control over their product manufacturing license. The individual gaining ownership or control interest is Donald Bussetti. This individual was subject to a background check and no suitability issues were discovered. Therefore, commission staff recommend review and decision on this request, and if approved, request that the approval be subject to the following conditions before you.
Thank you, Mr. Potvin. Are there questions or comments? And could I have a motion, please, to approve the change of ownership for T-Bear Incorporated? Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Let the record show that Commissioner Flanagan made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Doyle. All in favor?
Aye. Let
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the change of ownership for T-Bear Incorporated. Thank you, Mr. Potvin. No more changes of ownership. So next on the agenda is one change of location, Apotheca Incorporated, which is a vertically integrated medical treatment center. Mr. Potvin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The licensee here is Apotheca Incorporated. They are currently located at 73 Sergeant Street in Holyoke, Mass. They're seeking to relocate their dispensing operation under this medical marijuana treatment center license, and they're seeking to transfer it to 54 Hyde Park Avenue located in Boston, Mass. This licensee has paid all applicable fees. They did execute a host community agreement with the new municipality, and we did receive a response from Boston as well on July 25th of 2019, stating that the licensee was in compliance. Therefore, commission staff do recommend review and decision on this request, and if approved, request that your approval be subject to the conditions before you.
Thank you, Mr. Potvin. Are there questions or comments? Then can I have a motion, please, to approve the change of location for Apotheca Incorporated?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Let the record show that Commissioner Doyle made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the change of location for Apotheca Incorporated. Thank you. That is it for change of locations, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now comes the fun. We have a large list of renewals. The process that we have used for renewals in the past few meetings, and we will continue to use going forward, is that we will treat them as a roster unless one or more commissioners ask to treat them individually or pull them out for individual consideration. Because of that, we're not going to go through this in sequence. I'm going to go through several subsets that one or more commissioners pulled out that we'll talk about, and then we'll come back and deal with all the remaining ones as a roster. So just so that everybody can follow, make sure I'm in the right place as well. If you go to X, which is MD Holistics, we're going to pull out 7 that we're going to treat as kind of a sub-roster at the request of Commissioner Doyle. So MD Holistics Incorporated, Middlesex Integrative Medicine Incorporated, Nature's Remedy of Massachusetts Incorporated, Old World Remedies Incorporated. So I've just gone through X, Y, Z, and AA. And then I'm going to skip down to D, D, E, E, and FF, the Haven Center, 3 licenses, all for vertically integrated medical treatment centers. Commissioner Doyle, would you like to ask for a specific condition on these, or how would you like to proceed?
Sure. All of the licensees identified by the chairman, I'd like to add a condition to their renewal that they update their timeline to us within 60 days.
So then, unless there are other questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
So the motion, let me state the motion.
No, I won't.
So the motion is to approve the staff recommendations on renewal, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Doyle. Now you can make that motion. Can I have a second, please? Can I have a sec. Let the record show that Commissioner Doyle made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the renewals for MD Holistics Incorporated, Middlesex Integrative Medicine Incorporated, Nature's Remedy of Massachusetts Incorporated, Old World Remedies Incorporated, and the 3 Haven Center vertically integrated medical treatment centers, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Doyle. Thank you. We're going to do another sub-roster, and this is based again on Commissioner Title's request to pull several out. So just make sure I'm in the same place. Can't read it. Yeah, okay, we're on the same place. So the ones that Commissioner Title has asked to pull out are E, which is Berkshire Welco LLC. Do you want to do these individually or is this some roster? Individually. Okay, so let's start with Berkshire Welco LLC, which is MCR 139852, which is a cultivation renewal. Commissioner Title.
Thank you. I would like to add a condition to, within 60 days, come back with a update on both the diversity plan and the positive impact plan. As of now, they just uploaded the plans in the description of progress fields.
Thank you. Before I ask for a motion, are there any questions or comments? And then I would like to ask, please, for a motion to approve the renewal for Berkshire Welco LLC, MCR 139852, subject to the additional condition requested by Commissioner Title. Can I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please? Let the record show that Commissioner Title made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner McBride. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission actually approved the renewal for Berkshire Welco LLC, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title. Next is F, Caregiver Patient Connection, MCR 139851. Commissioner Title. It's caregiver patient.
Caregiver patient connection had a excellent original diversity plan that included mentoring, executive coaching, evaluations, and individualized plan for employee growth and metrics to evaluate every business department on the diversity surveys and then analyze those against their diversity goals. And it was very much in line with, I think, modern diversity plans, and it was very robust.
Excuse me.
The progress report did not address any of those items that I mentioned. So I would like to add a condition for a progress report on the original plan within 60 days.
Thank you. Any questions or comments before I ask for a motion? Then can I ask for a motion, please, to approve the renewal for Caregiver Patient Connection, MCR 139851, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please? Is that Commissioner Flanagan? Let the record show that the motion was made by Commissioner Title, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor? Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the renewal for Caregiver Patient Connection, MCR 139851, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title. We are next going to move down to I, which is GreenBiz LLC, MRR 205545, which is a retail renewal. Commissioner Title.
I'd like to propose the same condition as the first, which is that they did not have an update on their plans. They just had a note that they had not begun working towards those plans. So I'd like to add a condition to give an update within 60 days.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions before I ask for a motion? Okay, then can I please have a motion to approve the renewal for GreenBiz LLC MRR 205545, subject to condition requested by Commissioner Title?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Let the record show that Commissioner Title made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Doyle. All in favor? Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the renewal for GreenBiz LLC MRR 205545, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title. We are next going to move down to K, which is LDE Holdings LLC, MCR 139854, cultivation. Commissioner Title?
On LDE Holdings, trade routes, same issue. So they had excellent plans. They didn't have an update, and I believe they had an explanation that they hadn't started yet based on where their business is, but their plan had several elements that they could have started on. Really good things like putting together their committee or starting to write the surveys they were going to use. So I'd like to put a condition to come back with 60 days with progress on any aspect of their plans.
Okay.
Just diversity plan, thanks.
And are there any other questions or comments before I ask for a motion? And could I ask for a motion, please, to approve the renewal for LDE Holdings LLC, MCR 139854, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please? Let the record show that Commissioner Title made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show that the commission unanimously approved the renewal for LDE Holdings LLC, MCR 139854, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title. Do you want to do the Silver Therapeutics separately or together?
Together.
Okay, so then we're now going to consider L&M Silver Therapeutics Incorporated MRR 205549, which is retail, and then Silver Therapeutics Incorporated MCR 139853, which is cultivation. Commissioner Title?
Thank you. The diversity plan and positive impact plans for Silver Therapeutics were very short and broad, but the updates were unrelated to those plans. So, for example, the positive impact plan states an intention to commit up to 1% of revenue to social equity training and a fund, and to conduct up to 50 hours of educational seminars. So I would like to put a condition for an update on both plans within 60 days.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Then let me ask for a motion to renew or to approve the renewal of Silver Therapeutics MRR 205549 retail and Silver Therapeutics Incorporated MCR 139853 cultivation renewal, both subject to the conditions requested by Commissioner Title.
So moved.
It was a tie. Let the record show that Commissioner Title made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor? Let the record show that the commission unanimously approved the renewal for Silver Therapeutics Incorporated MRR 205549 and Silver Therapeutics Incorporated MCR 139853, both subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title. Thank you. I believe there's one last on your request, which is letter N, T-Bear Incorporated MPR 243498 with product manufacturer. Commissioner Title?
I'd like to request a condition to update their reports within 60 days with the statistics and metrics that are mentioned in the original plans.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or requests on this one? Then let me ask, please, for a motion to approve the renewal for T-Bear Incorporated MPR 243498, subject to condition requested by Commissioner Title. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Let the record show Commissioner Flanagan made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Doyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record show the commission unanimously approved the renewal for T-Bear Incorporated MPR 243498, subject to the condition requested by Commissioner Title. I believe those are the only renewals that you asked to be pulled out. So we have one more sub roster before we consider the remainder. So there are two that Commissioner Title has asked to be recused on. So let's do those if we could next. and those two are G and H, both Garden Remedies. So Garden Remedies Incorporated MCR 139846 and Garden Remedies Incorporated MPR 243502. Commissioner Title, you're going to recuse yourself on these? I don't think there's a discussion, there's a vote. So I guess you can stay for the vote. Although, maybe you need some exercise, a little walk, fresh air. Can I ask please for a motion to approve the renewal for Garden Remedies Incorporated MCR 139846 and Garden Remedies Incorporated MPR 243502? Can I have a second?
Second.
Let the record show that Commissioner Flanagan made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Boyle. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, let's do a voice vote, excuse me. Commissioner Flanagan?
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle?
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffman? Aye. Commissioner McBride? Commissioner Title? You're recused. So let the record show that the commission approved the renewals for Garden Remedies Incorporated, MCR 139846, and Garden Remedies Incorporated, MPR 243502 by a vote of 4 in favor. Commissioners Flanagan, Doyle, Hoffman, and McBride, with Commissioner Title recused. Okay, that is it for the sub roster. So I'm going to just read off the remaining licenses or renewals, unless there are any other requests. And then let me read off the roster for the remaining licenses and or renewals, excuse me. Let me get to the right. We're going to start with Berkshire Roots Incorporated, MRR 205548, which is retail. Berkshire Roots Incorporated, MPR 243499, which is product manufacturing. Berkshire Roots Incorporated, MXR 126655, which is transporter. Berkshire Roots Incorporated, MCR 139849. We are then going to go down to J, which is Herbology Group, MRR 205552. We are then going to skip down to O, which is the Green Lady Dispensary Incorporated, MCR 139850, the Green Lady Dispensary MPR 243501, the Green Lady Dispensary MRR 205547, ARL Healthcare Incorporated, which is a vertically integrated medical marijuana treatment center, ARL Healthcare RMD 1085, Healthy Farms Incorporated RMD 545, Holistic Industries, RMD 685, Hope Heal Health Incorporated, RMD 686, Mass Medicum Corp., which is a vertically integrated medical marijuana treatment center. So we're now down to, sorry, I should have moved down one more. We are now down to W, and then I'm going to skip down to double B, Sanctuary Medicinals Incorporated, RMD 1128. Sanctuary Medicinals Incorporated RMD 605. And I believe that, if I'm correct, is the complete list that's remaining for renewals. So can I have a motion, please, to approve the renewals for those entities? Can I have a second, please? Let the record show Commissioner Flanagan made the motion to approve, and it was seconded by Commissioner McBride. All in favor? I'm not going to read those again. I hope that our note takers have got that, but let the record show the commission unanimously approved the the renewals for the roster I just went through. Thank you. You doing okay? I guess I was, as usual, I end up doing more talking than you, but we'll change that shortly. The next set of licenses on the agenda are final licenses. Just make sure I'm catching up to myself. And we have 7 of those. Again, we will treat final licenses as a roster unless a commissioner has requested that they be separated out for separate discussion. I've only got one request for that, which is number D, which is HVV Massachusetts Incorporated, RMD 1405. Commissioner Title. That was your request, I believe?
I don't have a.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
So you would like to have a separate vote then. So why don't we do that? So let me ask please for a motion to approve the final license for HVV Massachusetts Incorporated, RMD 1405 for a final license. Can I have such a motion, please?
so moved.
Can I have a second? Let the record show Commissioner Doyle made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Title. All in favor? Okay, all opposed? Okay, I'm sorry. Let the record show that the commission unanimously approved the final license for HVV Massachusetts RMD 1405. I'm going to treat the remainder as a roster, but I'll go through them just to make sure the record is complete. So we have 6 remaining that we will vote on as a roster. Alternative therapy groups. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for not getting the right slide up there. Alternative therapy groups, MR 281346 retail, Curaleaf Massachusetts LLC, MR 282052 retail, Sierra Naturals, MC 281252 Tier 3 indoor cultivation, Hope Heal Health Incorporated, MC 281748 Tier 4 indoor cultivation, Hope Heal Health Incorporated, MP 281361 product manufacturer, and Hope Heal Health MR 281337. May I please have a motion to approve the final licenses for those 6 entities? Can I have a second? I'm sorry. Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry.
For each of the entities, as you know, suitability runs with the provisional license through at any time. So if something were to develop or new information would come to light, we would investigate it as thoroughly as possible in cooperation with anyone that may have any additional information relative to it. So for these ones, again, suitability was evaluated, continues to be evaluated. At this point, there's not a suitability concern that would rise to the level of the commission or to an adverse determination from the commission. Absolutely. The burden is on the licensee to update or inform us of anything that may require a suitability review. We also continue to investigate as we learn information that may implicate a suitability determination. So at this point, yes, it's a mutual burden, but one that we take seriously and we'll investigate if we learn anything.
Mr. Title?
Thank you. Just a comment for the record that I'm abstaining from this roster due to host community agreement concerns with each of the applications.
Okay, thank you. Again, before I ask for a motion on these 6 entities, are there any other comments or questions? Then can I have a motion, please, to approve the final licenses for the 6 entities on this list other than HVV Massachusetts, which we previously discussed? Can I have a second, please? Let the record show Commissioner McBride made the motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Flanagan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Commissioner Title? Let the record show that the commission approved the final licenses for these 6 entities with a vote of 4 in favor. Commissioners Flanagan, Doyle, Hoffman, and McBride, with Commissioner Title abstaining. Thank you. Any other final licenses, Mr. Potvin? Thank you. We've got, I think if my count is correct, we've got 31 provisional licenses. We are doing as we have in the past and will continue to do in the future, these individually, discuss and vote individually, given that these are the first time that these entities are coming in front of the commission. So if you're ready, I think I'm ready. Leah, you're out of order. Leah, I don't want to have to ask security. I do not want to ask security to remove you, Leah. We are adjourned for 15 minutes. We are adjourned for 15 minutes.
After 2 years of this ridiculous, non-transparent, rigid, convoluted process, it has been brought to my attention you have decided to scrutinize my economic development application process even further. As I attempt to get clarity and understanding as to why I am still on this, I personally requested a copy of my background check to review the report myself and compare it to your own laws, rules, and regulations. To my delight, as I was already aware, I have never been convicted of a felony in my 51 years of living. I do, on the other hand, have multiple incidences resulting in non-conviction from 1989, 2009, in the CSI background report, and I quote, multiple instances resulting in non-conviction of the distribution of a controlled substance to a minor are not disqualification relationship. It will not automatically result in presumption negative disciplinary termination. Also is stated in Mass General Law C 94G, Section 4, 3, and 4. Unless the offense involves the distribution of a controlled substance, including marijuana, selling marijuana to a minor. 935 CFR 500, 500.800.4C. If the executive director institutes a suitability review, the staff shall send a written notice of an adverse suitability recommendation that identifies the person and allows that person an opportunity to dispute it. The commission has been in possession of my completed application for background check information along with completed documents since July of 2018. Based on this report, so much for priority review. I did get my letter of completion in October. Please see attached CSI report. I have not been notified of any information that needs to be reconciled or addressed. When I spoke to Kyle Potterman, the executive director, on December 17th, Kyle did not answer these specific questions, which I asked about my application. Could he say, with the lack of transparency and priority review, I conclude it's under further review. In accordance to 935 CMR 500.800.4.e, notice of adverse suitability recommendation shall be provided the subject opportunity to request an informal proceeding for the suitability review. I conclude that with Kyle's limited notification via a phone call on December 17th, that I have been in a suitability review for over 60 days. I am requesting this today, an informal suitability review to be voted upon for my provisional license, but we have all of the people here in this room to make that decision. On the receipt of the staff notification, credible and reliable information within the 5 years immediately preceding this application will be the only negative suitability recommendation. I will obtain that I do not and will not and have not and do not have any reason within the 5 years of my 51 years of living that would make you question my suitability. So, as a veteran who has served her country, as a woman of color who has been disproportionately and adversely affected and affected by the war on drugs, who has never been convicted of a felony of any kind, a veteran with a license to carry a concealed firearm to obtain within the last 10 months, applies for a license to sell live now suddenly, as a veteran who has served her cannabis, as a former sailor who has vaccinated like a should be adverse and even and supervised affected by the war on drugs, who has never been Massachusetts sell live a special inspector for concrete, rebar, epoxy gravel soils for 7 years, a woman who has been a certified cardiac sonographer for over 10 years, a woman who has a home and is a homeowner in Roxbury, Cornell for over 20 years, a woman who developed the energy efficiency curriculum for the city of Boston that is still being refunded as we speak today. A woman who has been working closely with the mayor of Benito on the community block grant for the city of Boston, for New Boston. A woman who started and created developed curriculum for energy efficiency for the city of Boston and Roxbury District 7. A woman who has trained and mentored over 30 youth from ABCD job on summer programs in Roxbury. This is the most egregious insult the CCC could have delivered. And you, the CCC, are wondering why there is difficulty in inclusion economic empowerment applicants receive a license to sell cannabis. Suitability for licensure. Under the rules and regulations of CMR 500.800, here is the issue. Under unresolved proceedings of any kind, no. Outstanding unresolved warrants, no. Other unresolved marijuana license violations, no. Open professional occupation license cases, two applicants, my odds would have been more fortunate to have applied as a general applicant, being that most of them entered this arena 1 year after me and are up and running their businesses today. The state has approved 227 licenses. And two of them are priority economic empowerment applicants, 69 are general applicants, and 156 are medical cannabis conversions to recreational. So much for it, one priority. Let me make this situation clear as this process works quickly and expediently for some. 216 have federal licenses. Two of them are priority economic empowerment applicants. All 69 are general applicants. That's